Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Agnanatimirantasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumnitam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. On the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master, and under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes freed from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This taste leads one further forward to the attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in the bhava, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. The real love of God is called prema, the highest perfection stage of life, as mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In the following pages, we will discuss each offense by dealing with three questions. What is the constitution of the offense? What substances are they made of? How is it committed? How can it be rectified? Offense. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Satam Ninda Namna Paramam Aparadam. It is not wonderful for persons who have accepted the transient material body as a self to engage always in deriding great souls. Such envy on the part of materialistic person is very good because it is a way they fall down. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of the great personalities. By chanting the holy name, the Bhakti Lata, the seed of devotional service, grows in our heart. We have to cultivate it steadily until it finally reaches the lotus feet of Krishna, which means until we are completely Krishna consciousness. The offense of blaspheming a devotee is compared to a wild elephant that treads down all the plants in the garden of devotional service and tramples on them without distinction. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of the Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that approves the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephants of offenses do not enter, as mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Majja. Who is sadhu? First, we have to ask who is sadhu or a saintly person. Is he a man with a long beard? No. The principal quality of sadhu is his full surrender to Krishna. His subsidiary qualities like being merciful, tolerant, equal to all, and so forth succeed the principal one. At times, we see Indian sadhus smiling cheerfully at everybody, but not all of them are devotees of Krishna. On the other hand, there may be devotees who do not appear to be very friendly and sometimes even chase as others. If these devotees, however, possess their principal quality, complete surrender to Krishna, then they are sadhus. The principal quality of a devotee, called Swarupa Lakshana, is present in every devotee, whereas all other qualities, Tatastha Lakshana, vary from devotee to devotee. They are automatically developed if someone has fully surrendered to Krishna and is engaged in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enumerates them as follows. Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna, and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the six bad qualities. They eat only as much as required and they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. As mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya. In essence, a pure devotee can be recognized by his constant chanting of Krishna's holy names. He regards himself lower than straw in the street and more tolerant than a tree. And he is always ready to offer respect to others, without expecting honor from others. For such a devotee, the holy name bestows pure love of God. There are four kinds of offenses against devotees which have to be strictly avoided. A devotee should not be criticized for his social background. You may sometimes hear he comes from the labor class. He has never really learned anything. He cannot even quote Shakespeare. Or in India, we often hear the Western Vaishnavas are all Lechas and Yavanas, and they are not all qualified. His attitude has to be given up. A devotee should not be criticized for the past sins or faults which he has committed in his lifetime. A devotee should not be criticized for an unintentional sin, accidental fall down. A devotee should not be criticized for the traces of previous sinful habits. For example, his memory is damaged from having taken undesirable substances. Another example might be someone who was very sensuous previously, but who now focuses all his senses desires on prasadam of the Lord, thereby eating impressive quantities. Let me stop here, Prabhu. All we see here is one individual should have a desire for a self-realization. What he can do is he can associate with persons who are spiritually elevated, or he becomes initiated by a spiritual master. And under his instructions, he can begin process of becoming a devotional service. By following the instructions of Supreme Master, he can become freed from the material attachment and develop the love of the Supreme Person of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And we also see here what is the um, offense and what are the three questions that we need to go through from each of these questions during the offense method. The first one is not to blaspheme any devotee, whether they're coming from any kind of background. It's always it's always give respect to the devotee, despite of not looking at his background and also from where he has come from or what bad habits he has. All we need to make sure is we need to chant the holy name of the Lord and develop a devotional service in our own heart. That's where we can steadily uh, progress and reach as the final to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. What it means is that we are fully Krishna consciousness. An example is given for blaspheming a devotee compared to a wild elephant. Yes, definitely. If a devotee is get the offense of blaspheming devotee is compared to a wild elephant who does destroy everything in the garden and even uproot themselves, which we should not do that. We should always be calm, peaceful, and then respect the devotion, the Krishna devotee. It's also mentioned by Chaitanya that devotee, the 26 qualities of a devotee and how he should be and what he should be. Lastly, he says that the devotee should be recognized by his constant chanting of the holy names, and definitely he should consider himself as a lower than a straw and more tolerant than a tree. For whatever reason, we should not blaspheme any devotee coming from any kind of background, and we should always respect him, and we should also treat him equally and make him aware of the Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhu. Let me continue my chanting.